Nebraska wrapped up fall camp practice number 8 on Tuesday. Hi, Sean Callahan with HuskerOnline.com. We caught up with head coach Matt Rule, offensive line coach Donovan Raiola, and a few different players to get a rundown on where the Huskers are at thus far in camp. And first and foremost, Coach Rule gave some different injury notes.
Just injury update. I know you guys saw guys that were in. I know you probably saw some guys that were in and not out. I won't get into specifics of injuries right now, but I'll give you any year-long thing. So obviously Brody's out for the year. Maverick Noonan hurt his knee on Saturday, out for the year. Not an ACL or anything like that. Just kind of a freak thing. So he'll have surgery this week. Be about 6 months. We'll be fine. We'll be as good as new. But obviously our hearts go out to both Brody and Maverick. So everyone else is trending on being ready. If they're out right now.
Rule also added that wide receiver Xavier Betts not out there at practice as well, down with some sort of injury, as was Malachi Coleman. But as Rule said, he's not here to talk about the guys that are not practicing. His focus is on the guys that are on the field.
I think it's a really good opportunity for our guys. I mean, receivers all along have been, who are going to be the guys, right? There's not a lot of returning production. When Marcus was healthy, obviously, when he found out he was going to be healthy, it was really a big thing for us. I think there's a lot of opportunities for some other guys to step up and play, right? So everybody says they want to play as a freshman, but it's really hard to do, and especially in today's day and age where you're so distracted, you have to know how to learn. So, we're giving some young guys, Jalen Lloyd, Jaden Doss are getting some opportunities to go out there and play, and, we'll see where they're at. They're trending in the right direction. But Billy's, a guy who's, unbelievably productive. Alex Bullock's having a really, really good camp. Alex, you guys know how I feel about Alex. And a lot of other guys. So a lot of guys are taking advantage of their moment. So, but that's probably of all the positions, that's where the most questions are right now for us on offense. We kind of know who the guys who have played, but that's remains to be seen.
Offensive line was a big topic of discussion here on Tuesday. Rule said really the key is having 7 guys that he can feel comfortable putting on the field.
I don't want to single too many guys out. I mean, Henry's a guy that we think can be a starter, so it's always been him battling to start, and I think he has a really bright future. So I like his demeanor. We put him in a lot of tough situations to see how he responds. He always responds the right way. So I think philosophically, Sat, Donnie, and I would love to have 7 offensive linemen that we know can go in and play, and then after that, it's all bonuses, right? We have some young players that are really good, right? Justin Evans Jenkins is a good player. Gunner is a good player. Sam Sledge, for just getting here, is a really good player. So, you want to have 7 guys you can count on, and then, if they're in that 7, great, but if you can make that 8, 9, 10, then so be it. Things are great. So, but yeah, I'm really a big fan of Henry's. I think he's, a guy that's going to have a really bright future.
And there's no doubt some questions on that offensive line. Both Teddy Prohaska out right now, Nuri Noeli not practicing as well. So they are down a little bit on those overall numbers.
They're all improving, we're just focusing on this process we're going through, and just working hard to earn the right to play, in the game. So.
And one of those players we talked with here was Bryce Benhart.
It's going good. I mean, improving every day. That's the goal, win the rep at practice and then improve every day. Especially as the O-line, we're making strides together and communicating and getting better every day.
Rule also gave an update on special teams.
Yeah, good teams, their starters play special teams. On good teams, your starters play special teams. But at the same time, you have core guys that play on all 4, and that's their life, right? And so it's not like a consolation prize. It's big, right? You're representing the Huskers, so I think our attention to detail on special teams, I think the amount of reps we get, I think the way Ed, just to have a special teams coach, that's all he does, that signifies for us our commitment to it. But I expect all of our players to contribute on special teams in some way. But I'm always looking for those guys hey, they're going to come in here, scholarship or walk on, that doesn't matter to me. They're going to be a key member of those teams, and for the type of team we're going to be, we're going to have to win the turnover margin, right? We're going to have to win the penalty battle. We're going to have to win the special teams. We're going to have to do everything right, to have a chance to win games. And so I want guys when they play special teams to know, hey, I'm affecting winning. How I play affects whether we win or lose. So I think we're making that progress. But there's some guys that have played a lot, and there should be a lot of competition right now. you know, you guys can kind of tell, like, I don't want to talk too much about the guys not practicing because there's a lot of guys who are practicing. And I love the guys who aren't, you know, just there's guys out there, like, busting their tails right now. And so they're the guys who are going to play on special teams, right? Like, they might not be a starter, but I'm watching some of these young kids, this Eric Fields kid, and I'm like, man, how is he not on 4 special teams for us? If he isn't, it's because some of those older players, they're fighting for it. You know, Ashton Houseman, I'm like, how is he not on? So we have a lot of guys that I think could be elite special teams demons for us. I think Phelan was just here. You know, those kind of guys, they're invaluable.
And one of those key special teams players for the Big Red will be Phelan Sanford.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna put guys on the field that know how to get the job done, whether that's older, younger, it doesn't matter. Especially right now in special teams, I think the older guys are doing a good job of being leaders and showing the young guys how we approach things, how we do things. And then I think as we get further into camp, further into season, the young guys can step into those roles.
And for Sanford, he said it's been really enjoyable this fall camp, just getting to know this football team, being around them in that dorm setting on a daily basis.
It's really different. I mean, you get to be around these guys a lot more. You don't finish the day and then just go home to your 2-3 same roommates every day. You go to the dorms, you see guys you've never talked to. They made us roommates with guys that we don't know, which I think is really cool. I've got to sit down with a lot of the freshmen, a lot of guys that I haven't talked to before, got their perspective on things, on the team, how they feel about things, and I think it's really good for the team.
Secondary continues to be a very competitive spot on this football team. Malcolm Hartzog said versatility remains the key.
I feel like when they first told me, I was like ready for the challenge, and now that I did, I like playing safety and corner, knowing like every position on the field and what's going on. So I feel like that made me a better versatile player all over.
Rule and the Huskers will switch things up over the next few days. On Wednesday, they'll practice in the evening, and then on Thursday, they'll have an afternoon practice.
My thought process with 3 days in a row, like when I move it to the night, I get like 8 more hours of recovery, right? So even in season, you'll see we go Tuesday morning and then we go Wednesday evening. So that extra 8 to 10 hours of recovery might be the difference between a tweak and no tweak. So we do that for recovery. But also, I like to change the schedule. Like we're taking the guys to the women have their first soccer match today. So we're taking them into the soccer game tonight, right? I want them to like wake up every day and not know exactly during training camp what the schedule is. Like we like being comfortable, we like rigid schedules, but the game's not rigid. So I like to change things up on them. So tomorrow they're like, what do we have? Oh, we have offense, left, defense, meet, and then, you know, they just have to learn to adjust, right? So, but I also think we need to get under the lights. We need to catch balls in the lights. So it's being under lights. It's a little more recovery, and it's just something to change up we're kind of in that week right now where everyone's like, when's camp over? So just something to kind of change it a little bit.
We also got our first look at the behind-the-scenes fall camp documentary going on with Nebraska. It's called A Look In, and Rule said he was really pleased with how episode 1 came out.
CJ Campbell kind of heads up that area for us. Jordan Litton put that episode together. I think a couple different guys are doing it. You know, Jay Litt, when I first got here, we didn't really have a creative staff in football. Jay Litt's a student here in Nebraska. He's unbelievable. Like, I've never been around somebody like that. I trust him implicitly. Like, if you guys know me, I'm like, hey, I want to know what the show's about. I want to know this. Jay Litt, I said, do your thing, bro. Like, he knows what we're trying to get done. Mike Wallace kind of is like so Mike Wallace and CJ and Jay Litt, they came up with the idea. They executed it. They ran with it. And I thought it was great. You know, I thought it was fun. And, you know, this next episode, I'm sure they'll even have more behind-the-scenes stuff. So we have to, you know, balance making sure the kids feel comfortable, our men feel comfortable, like, hey, we're not giving away, you know, making them look bad. But there's a lot of good things happening. I want our fans to be a part of it. So I thought the show was cool.
And finally, Rule said the team will spend Tuesday night attending the Nebraska women's soccer exhibition game.
Yeah, you know, maybe guys that are in treatment or something won't, but the entire team will go there, yeah. But our women's soccer team is like, you know, like we have that Olympic day that we did, and they're all out there supporting us. They're doing it with us. You see them in the halls all the time. So, you know, I was walking one day and I asked them when their first game was because they're in preseason too, right? And so they told me it was tonight. So I thought my daughters would be here. I was excited to take them. They're not here yet, so we're going to take the team. And, you know, like we had Coach Cook come talk to the team, right? Like we just want to be around winning, and we want to go watch the girls win tonight. So hopefully they play a great game.
Huskers will be back on the field for practice number 9 on Wednesday evening. Reporting with the Nebraska football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan for HuskerOnline.com.